I'm going to put you at 100 because you're just having too much fun.
Shahrzad.
Yes, Susan?
What comes to mind when I say sculpt?
Ooh, something that we're not, but we always try to be.
It's true. I'm definitely slacking in the sculpting
Well,
arena.
you just had a baby, and I just had a baby 3 years ago, so I'm still really trying to sculpt.
Yeah,
This
I
is
am too.
Taking a while. Why do you ask?
I ask because today we are at Beverly Hills Plastic Surgery, Inc., and we're gonna see board-certified plastic surgeon Dr. Gabriel Chiu, and we're gonna get Emsculpt.
Oh, yeah! I know a little bit about it because so many of you guys have talked about Emsculpt and you've been curious, and in my real life, my personal friends are like, have you tried Emsculpt? Can you try it? Let me know if it works so I can do it too, because it's a non-invasive treatment and it sounds magical.
I feel like it's kind of like the new wave of like the treatments, the body treatments that everyone wants to know about. And because I was pregnant and because you were just taking a break, we really hadn't gotten to it. So that's what we're gonna do today.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
Okay. We are so excited. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming.
Let's start with the basics. What is Emsculpt?
So Emsculpt, the technology behind Emsculpt is HIFEM, high intensity focused electromagnetic energy. What happens is that this energy goes into the muscles and causes it to contract. As a matter of fact, in a half-hour session, your stomach is doing 20,000 crunches. It's supramaximal contractions. That's something that you physically cannot do voluntarily, only being done by the machine. And it's making your muscles contract at 100%. One, you're going to increase your muscle mass 16% on average and burn off about 19% of fat. There's different types of contractions that the machine is making you go through. The third type of contraction that it makes your muscles go through is one where it kind of wrings out the lactic acid and the blood from your muscles.
Is that and that's what causes soreness, right?
Yeah, exactly. So when you fatigue, it's because your muscles have built up lactic acid, and it goes ahead and contracts all this out. So you actually, when you're done, don't feel any soreness. You don't feel like, oh my God, I can't stand up and walk. You don't feel anything other than the kind of workout soreness the next day. They tell you to do 4 treatments, and you should do the treatments within a couple days of each other, optimally 2 to 3 days apart. But you can go ahead and do them as far as, like, say, 4 days apart.
Is this good for anybody, or do you kind of have to already be in good shape to experience the benefits? Or can you be any size?
Honestly, just like regular exercise, anyone who can benefit from exercise, which is anybody who has muscles, to work out, is going to benefit from this.
Okay.
But who is going to get the best benefits from this? Well, it's going to be somebody who doesn't have a large amount of fat. They do work out, so they are used to working out their muscles, but they're not getting the results that they really want to see, getting to that, I guess you can say, that upper echelon, or getting the next step. So someone who works out and they do so, say, 5-6 days a week, you're seeing a nice muscle tone, but you don't see the details of the muscles, okay? You can see that they're slim, they don't like stick out or anything else, but there's no definition. This is going to help increase that definition. This is going to help build up the muscles. This is going to help target in that specific area fat burning, which no other machine does.
That brings me to my next question, because I know people are going to ask. I've done Coolsculpting, sculpture, I've done it on this show. How does this compare to that? Because those are, we sort of think of them as non-invasive alternatives to liposuction. Would you say this is in that category, or how is it the same, different?
Yes, and then some.
Okay.
Because it is burning off fat, but also building up muscle and also giving you more muscle tone, development, and definition. Okay. None of those machines do, and we have Coolsculpting here as well. Coolsculpting, the technology behind it, is that it's freezing and damaging the fat cells to the point where your body comes in to go ahead and basically finish the process to eliminate the fat cells. Most of the time, the problem with Coolsculpting is that people don't realize you really should be doing a series of treatments with those two. Most patients don't get the results that they're looking for by treating the same area just once. With sculpture, it's a very, very low level of laser. And as you know with laser, you have to basically go through the tissues that are in front of it. For instance, if I'm right here like this, and I'm trying to go ahead and get to Shahrzad to make her shrink.
I'm blocking it.
Yeah. And so guess who gets damaged in the way?
Me.
Yes.
Aww.
So that's...
It made me feel so sad.
And let's just say that there's a lot more, okay? So if you have a relatively larger layer of fat underneath the skin, then of course it's not getting to that deeper fat. It's going to just hit mostly the fat just right underneath the skin. Now, do they work? Absolutely, especially Coolsculpting. You can see some really significant improvements. The limitations with Coolsculpting, and you guys have done this, so you have seen the size of the cup. What happens when, let's say, your lower tummy doesn't fit in that cup?
Yeah.
Okay, it's
get like
too
a
small
shelf.
or too big. Yeah, it starts to look like there's a halo kind of a look where it took off too much fat, or maybe it looks like a shark bite because the outside edges are still fat, or whatever else. And again, multiple treatments can help this, but the problem again is that it's not customizable, and that's where people come to see me to go ahead and have the surgery done. Okay?
Oh, right. Okay.
Right. Which, by
sculpting.
the way, I will say, at the end of the day, think that nothing beats surgery, right?
True, and currently the way the standards are with different machines, they're getting very, very close to being as efficient as low-level surgeries. But again, you're right, there's nothing that's going to be better than doing a surgery. And one of the things we have yet to touch about with Emsculpt, it has been shown to decrease a diastasis. Okay? Now, what is-
that's what I
major
have.
for moms.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what is a diastasis? For women, it usually happens at a huge weight gain and then weight loss, and you see it, or from pregnancy or multiple pregnancies. It is a split between your rectus muscles. Your rectus muscles are what people commonly call the washboard muscles.
The abs.
Correct. And so when you see in the midline a little spacing in there, studies have shown that Emsculpt is actually going to work out your stomach enough to go ahead and decrease the diastasis, and well, quite possibly you can go ahead and completely correct it.
Well, mine is really slight. Like mine is one of those where you can put your fingers into it kind of thing if I lay back, but it's like around my belly button. That's where I have that separation. And I never fixed it completely.
This may fix it completely.
So, is it painful?
Pain.
So
we gotta talk.
it's really interesting. The more you try to resist it, you will feel some discomfort because, of course, it's forcing your stomach to contract. And if you fight it, just like you fight anything else, you're going to feel some discomfort.
So when you say fight it, like if we tighten up or something?
Yeah, once I started to relax my stomach after about a minute and just allowed it to go ahead and go through the contractions.
Just let it happen.
To be honest, I actually felt good. It felt like, how much easier can it get than this? I just lay back and relax, and something else is going ahead and doing my workout for me.
So
And
it sounds pretty nice.
you two are very petite, so we can just do one. We can just do one paddle on each stomach, and you guys can actually compete against each other. We'll bring in another chair and have you two compete.
Oh
if
my
you
god, I
want.
love that. You want to do that?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
hilarious.
let's do it.
I would love to
Alright.
do that.
Well, I'm ready.
All right.
All right, so we're ready to get started.
Let's go ahead and start. We have the paddles right over here. Put down the strap. And
Oh, it's cold.
okay. And so these straps are going to help stabilize them, keep them in place while you're having your treatment.
She's ticklish.
Then you're going to have a lot of fun.
Oh, great. Oh, no.
Ooh, I feel something happening.
Yeah.
Are you starting?
Yeah, both of you.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. Now,
I
do you
feel
feel it
that.
over your whole stomach, your whole center stomach?
Yeah.
You're only at 10% right
Okay,
now.
I was going to say, what's
I was gonna say
that?
that's easy.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and increase it to
It's
something where you can
ticklish,
feel it a little bit. Yeah, down at
Look at my knee felt funny. It like tweaked my knee.
It's tickling.
your knee.
Oh, it felt like it.
It's tickling.
Maybe it's a little low.
Maybe it was a little low because it's making my knee move. I mean, my.
I think that's you then, because it should just be on your stomach muscle too.
Oh, that's different. That's a different feeling.
Wait, what
Every
percentage are
time
we
it
at?
goes.
You're at 40% right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I
mean, you can
cannot
feel
describe.
something, but you're not like contracting down here, right?
No, not
should be just-
contracting.
it should be just here.
You know what
Yeah.
it is? It's like
Yeah.
it feels I feel a tickle all the way down to like my knees.
Is every time it like goes
There you go,
through,
yeah,
I
your
feel
muscles
like
are
I'm
contracting.
convulsing though.
Yeah.
Like okay.
So your muscles are doing the
Yeah.
maximal contractions,
But I
right?
feel like I have to move my body. Like it's making my leg move. Is that normal?
No, it shouldn't be feeling that like that, but it might just be because you're sensitive.
Wait, no, I know what she's talking about. I know what she's talking about. It's
Oh,
just
that,
like,
yeah, that feels better.
Okay,
I think.
but you're feeling it over your whole
Yeah,
stomach.
yeah, now I am.
Okay.
Yeah, more. I cannot describe this feeling.
me either.
I told you.
I'm contracting.
But you guys are having too much fun, so I gotta increase the amount here.
What percentage is that?
You're at 70.
Oh my god.
Come on, you guys can do it. Let's go to 100. Again, try not to fight it.
Okay,
Just
okay.
try to relax.
Right. We're gonna relax.
You're at 80. I can't believe you guys are having so much fun.
It's just like, a roller coaster ride of my guts.
Yeah.
Up and then down.
That's a good description.
I feel like I'm being pulled up.
You guys are doing well. You're at 90%.
Is this not the normal reaction?
You guys are having too much fun with me.
What are we at now?
I'm going to put you at 100 because you're just having too much fun.
Oh my god, that's
That's totally awesome. I can totally handle this.
we just snorted.
Oh, this is nothing.
You're at 100%. This is as bad as it gets. So
It's not painful.
Right.
Obviously.
No, it's just different.
It just feels like someone's squeezing the shit out of me.
Again, if you fight it, then you're going to feel more discomfort, but you guys are like relaxing and letting
Oh my god.
Okay, so you're going through the third phase, which again, it's contracting the muscles to flush out your blood and flush out that lactic acid. Okay?
It felt like someone was smacking. It's like bad girl.
Doesn't it feel like
Bad girl.
doesn't it feel like a hiccup? A little bit like a hiccup? You've experienced all 3 cycles.
Okay.
So it's just going to repeat itself from here.
This
Okay.
is nothing compared to what I expected.
This is like,
Yeah.
it's so not painful. I can't describe it.
I
Just
can't
like you
describe
tried to say you couldn't describe it. It's hard to
Yeah, and
describe.
again, you typically will do 4.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. 4 cycles.
This cycle's interesting. It's not painful.
I can't even pay attention. I'm sorry. Oh, it's different.
I can't wait to do
Well,
this
again, this is
It's
at
the happiest
100%.
I've been in a while. Oh, Christ.
You're done.
Woo!
So let's go ahead and kick down the
That was
strap.
not bad at
That
all.
was actually kind of awesome.
Yeah.
You guys were having too
I
much
think we
fun.
got
this
like
all the
an
time.
hour workout from laughing too,
I-
so it was like double,
And,
right?
Yeah, and worked out your lungs.
Do I look
You
like
got a little
this,
cardio.
Yeah.
Am I ready to be in a midriff? So we're good to go. Everything is just schedule with you, come back in, see
Right.
how we do, and
Yeah, again, if you were doing the full treatment or if you want to go ahead and do the full treatment, I would recommend that you do the next one in 1 to 4 days. Every other day is optimal.
Okay.
But again, you want to go ahead and do 4 treatments kind of close together like that. In other words, within a 2-week period, it
Okay.
seems like. And that's pretty much it. That you'll notice the improvement as if you were working out with someone for your stomach for probably a month or so. As far as your care goes, there's nothing to worry about. You don't have any kind of things to watch out for. Just like when you work out, you may notice that your stomach feels a little tense or a little
Sore.
fatigued. Yeah, just like you would if you were working out.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you. You made
Thank
that
you.
super fun.
that was so much fun. What do you think?
This is something that so many people asked about, right?
Emsculpt is so popular. I think it's only going to keep getting more popular.
Yeah, I have a lot to say. So I have been the one between the two of us to try Coolsculpting, Sculpture, and now Emsculpt. And I would say between the 3 of those, in terms of comfort while you're getting the treatment, Emsculpt without question is the most comfortable and like manageable to do.
Yeah, but I think it's important to point out they're completely different what they're
Right.
what you're trying to do because you're trying to
Yes.
melt fat, whereas the reason you're losing some fat with Emsculpt is
Yeah.
because it's building more muscle, and muscle burns fat.
Right. I think like from the average person's perspective though, they seem like they do the same type of thing, right? Like from a normal person looking to maybe like trim up their waistline or something, you would probably find Emsculpt, Sculpture, and Coolsculpting as your options. And like I said, since I've gotten those 3 done in terms of like how it feels, Emsculpt is the most manageable. I thought the other two were pretty painful in my opinion. And I think I'm pretty tough. But I thought Emsculpt, you know, we obviously were cracking up, you saw that, but we both went back three more times because doing it 4 times is what they call a complete cycle. And even when we weren't together, we did them really close together. Even when we weren't together, I could handle it. Like without question could handle it. I'm not saying it's a spa day or anything like that. It feels different. Like it's
weird. It's kind of like a contraction though. So for women, if you're a mom and you've had contractions, it's like those first stages, like when it was manageable and you were thinking like, oh, if this is what labor is, I can handle this. And then, you know, labor gets terrible later. But those first few contractions that you're feeling when you're pregnant, that's kind of what I would say it feels like. You guys know I had a baby a few months ago, and one of my big issues was that after Nikosh, my first baby, I got something called Diastasis Recti. You know, your ab muscles separate because they get pushed out, and then for some people it can be really severe and they need to have something like a tummy tuck, you know, to be able to close it all up. Some people, they can just do exercise and it closes up. Mine was separated by about a little less than an inch. So I did as much working out as I possibly could, you guys, after Nikosh, and it never fully closed up. And so I was assuming that it wasn't ever gonna happen this time either. And it's not one of those things where I thought I needed tummy tuck. You know what I mean? Like it just wasn't
you can avoid surgery.
Yeah, it wasn't on the list for me at all. So I was really curious to see if it was gonna help my diastasis recti, and I am happy to report you guys, it did.
Awesome.
It really helped it. It didn't close up completely, but you can feel like how separated. You can literally, you guys, stick your fingers between your abs when you've got this. And I can feel that. I even had my doctor check it, and it was one of those things where he was like, he jokingly said like, just do some crunches, but that wasn't helping. And this is the first thing that's ever shown a difference. It didn't close it up completely, but now I actually feel like there's like hope. We got this treatment for free.
We did.
Sometimes we have to pay, sometimes we don't. This one, I specifically want to point out to you guys that we got this as part of doing the video.
Right.
And we took it up because it was very expensive.
Okay, so speaking of price, they suggest 4 treatments to really see results, and that's gonna be $4,000. So this is absolutely a luxury treatment, all right? So I think it's really important, always, we talk about this a lot, is to manage your expectations. You guys can look at our before and afters and, you know, judge for yourself if this is something that you think is worth it.
I think another thing to point out is wherever you are, we were in Beverly Hills, where it's probably gonna be the most expensive to get this treatment. So wherever you are, you might find that the pricing is different. And I think, as with all new treatments, eventually pricing changes.
Again, as Susan pointed out, we got 4 complimentary treatments, so it's a little bit easier for me to say that I liked it.
Yeah, if I had to pay for it, I might think twice about it.
Be a little bit more critical.
But as someone who was kind of sad about my stomach never going back to the way it was gonna be, I will say, I would maybe now consider this. I'm even thinking maybe I would go back for another round of 4 to try to see if it's gonna completely close up my diastasis recti. So for women out there who are like, you know, maybe it would be worth it. Rich, or they're just really sad about their bellies, you know, like, and they don't wanna have a tummy tuck or something like that. Granted, if you guys really need a tummy tuck, it's not gonna fix that. It's never gonna replace surgery, but for someone like me, it actually gives me a lot of hope. And that's me being just pretty much vain. It's like just vanity.
Well, I think those things are all good to keep in mind in terms of expectations. Like, it's not gonna be like so relaxing, comfortable. It is expensive, and you guys can determine from our before and afters if you think that this is worth it, and of course, make up your own minds. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the SASS. Give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time. Bye.